What up, YouTube? I uh I don't really just make automotive repair videos. I do not try to get involved with politics. That's a very touchy subject for people. Um, a lot of people getting I got into altercations with my family, arguments and stuff like that, friends and family. Like politics is a very touchy subject for people. I really don't care, how other people, how you feel or anybody else. These are my own opinions. But you know, I have a liberal arts education. Um, I went to Methodist for over 3 years. I majored in economics for over 3 years, business, biology for 3 years. Um, and it's just I studied economics. I kind of have a little background. Um, what I was just wanting to touch upon, just like in Texas, this anti-abortion thing they got going on, this Roe versus Wade they're trying to overturn. First of all, that's a civil rights thing for women. It is a woman's right to decide whether or not she wants an abortion. That is nobody else's fucking choice but that person in that situation. Like you cannot tell someone else what to fucking do when it comes to their body. Like that's a woman's fucking right. That's her choice. And it's usually based on, damn, am I gonna marry this guy? Am I gonna be with him? Am I gonna start a family? Do I have the financial, background to support a child? Like all of these factors come into play, and am I financially stable? Do maybe I want to go to school? Maybe I want to travel the world. Maybe I just don't. I'm not. I don't want to fucking raise kids because I don't fucking want. I'm not ready for that mentally. I'm not ready to settle down. Uh, because children will fucking. That's a big responsibility. That's just, and that's not something that you should be forced into by someone else by a law. I feel like that's a civil right. That's a woman's right. That's a woman's right. That is their own personal decision. It's a personal thing. That's not for the government to tell you you need to have this child. And let me tell you why it affects people economically, why this has an economical impact. Um, First of all, Republicans are the only ones pushing this. Republicans, usually represent the elite, the upper rich people, and let me tell you why it 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 uh, it behooves them, or it benefits them that you have children, and a lot of them, because it increases the population, and it's about supply and demand. This is a basic economic fundamental, supply and demand. So when you have a large supply of people, kids, babies, population, and you have a very small demand, which is jobs, because these rich people, these Republicans, these CEOs that own these corporations, these companies, they're taking their labor to China and South America and Africa and all these poor countries, and they're starting warehouses and manufacturing in these little cheap poor countries for pennies to make their Nikes and their whatever, their products in China and South America so they can increase their profit margins because it's cheaper for them, you know. Um, well, in America, you know, the way that we get our wages increased is because we have skilled labor here, and we don't work for pennies. Well, When you have a large population, you don't have a choice. You can't really, it's hard to form labor unions when you got these little uneducated, naive young people that are dumb, that are naive, they're just fucking kids. They're young, they don't know any better. They're going to work for minimum wage. They're going to work for nothing. They don't know any better. You see, back in the day, before my time, your parents, your grandparents, the American dream or the American thing was, your father, he was the breadwinner. He went to work and he could support his family. Mom would stay at home. She would raise the kids. And she was like, the backbone that kept the family together. Well, that was true up until about the 1970s. After the Depression, after World War II, that's when women entered the workforce. It was coming out. We were in a depression, so what got us out of that was the war. But also, women had to go to work because the men were over there fighting. Well, what happened was the wages stayed the same. The wages stayed the same. So there were no like major rises in minimum wage. However, productivity continued to increase. We kept increasing productivity as men and women, and then the men came back, they went to work, and there were less, fewer jobs, with men and women both competing in the workforce. But one of the reasons is because the wages did not increase. Why is that? It's because now you got men and women in the workforce. There's more supply of employees now. Okay? So there's less of a demand. So they don't have to give you an increase in wages. And that's why you have this economic crisis right now. And that's why the economy is fucked up. It's because instead of giving the Americans a raise, what they did was they gave the CEOs a raise. That's why you have this great gap between the rich and the poor now. You got so many people which are employees, which is us, the employees that work, that bust our ass to make McDonald's and Starbucks and GM and all these corporations and these factories and Monsanto and Smithfield, all these millions of dollars and all these company profits because we go to work like little good slaves. And what happened was we kept busting our ass, we kept working and to make them money. And instead of giving us raises, what they did is they said, oh, the CEOs, we're geniuses because, our profits have increased because the Americans are skilled labor. We're not dumb. We have educations. You go to China, a lot of them didn't even finish high school. South America, they have no education. China, no education. They don't even have high school educations. A lot of them never finished middle school. They're unskilled labor. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that they're stupid or not intelligent, but we have training. We have a lot better training. We're not unskilled labor. Well, anyways, also they send, they outsource labor. They can send, you can do, the jobs. It's not that, some of this stuff is not that hard. You can send it over there. However, it's like I said, supply and demand. Supply and demand. They send the jobs over to China. We got less jobs here. So what does that force you to do? Take a job for less money. That's what they did. So we have taken the same jobs for less money. We're not getting any raises. And what the CEOs have said is, we're geniuses, we're smart. We saved us a lot of money by sending half the manufacturing jobs to China. So we don't have to pay these Americans these high wages. So what happened was all these CEOs and all these executives, they gave themselves raises. So now they're millionaires, they're rich. So you got this few small amount of people that have all the money, which was supposed to be your retirement, which was supposed to be your wages, your father's wages, your father's raises, your mother's raises, your mother's retirement, your father's retirement. That was supposed to be your college tuition. Had your parents got those raises, they could have sent you to college. They could have got you, you know, maybe a car or something like that to go to school, to get a job. But no, that's just their bosses, their CEOs. That's their little vacation for the weekend. That's their new BMW, their new Porsche, their new, little sports car, whatever. So that's what happened. So this is, in history, we have gotten, if you look at it, the productivity versus the wages have been the same. They have increased incrementally the same until the 1970s, after the Depression. Wages have stayed the same, basically. However, American productivity has increased constantly. Constantly. It has still continued to increase. However, the wages have not increased. But you know where the money went? It went to the CEOs, to the executives. That's who got the way. That's where all the money went. That's why we have an economic crisis right now. Because what happened was, your moms and dad and their children, us, we had to go into debt. We got credit. They, instead of giving us wages, instead of giving us raises, they gave us credit. They gave us credit cards. They said, you can have it now, but you still got to pay us back with interest. That's why we're in an economic depression. That's why we're economically, that's why I studied economics. Like, I know the history. So you gotta, a lot of people don't pay attention to history. If you don't study history. And another thing in history, man, is when shit go wrong like this, governments collapse. You want to know why we got organized crime, doing all this stuff, like stealing all this jewelry and all this clothes and stuff like that. Bruh, look around you. Look around you, man. Why is that increasing? It's because ain't no fucking jobs. Ain't nothing you can do. Ain't no jobs even worth getting. Because the wages ain't shit. All you rich all the companies. And another thing is, Americans, we're 10% of the world's population. We are 65% of the consumers of the world. We are the biggest consumers of everything. However, we only count for 10% of the population. See, what happened is, we wanted to keep up with the Kardashians. We wanted to maintain this, the American dream, the American lifestyle, where the man can work, take care of the kid, your wife can stay at home. And that's how it was for a long time. But the last 30 years, that's why we have this big gap between the rich and the poor. And that's why it is going to increase. And that's why the rich is getting richer and the poor will continue to get poor. It's because there is a big supply of the population. And the people, you want to blame the Mexicans or whatever, or the Ukrainians for coming in or whatever. It's not that. It's the damn CEOs. It's the companies. And the companies control the politics. Why? Because the economy in the American banking system is in a crisis. And what happens is the banks can't even back up their own loans. That's why they start giving it out. So guess who start backing up the banks and providing the banks? These companies started buying liability bonds and stuff like that from the banks. So guess what? And guess what Trump did? They gave them a tax break. They said, "Oh, we're gonna cut the companies." Trump gave himself a fucking tax break because so these Republicans, this is what they do. The Republicans, and I'm not saying it's not even Republicans or Democrats, and a lot of people, it's not even, you know what, a lot of people. Another thing is there's racism shit. Yeah, it's racism. It ain't even about racism no more. Really, that's what they're trying to push a lot. It's about economics. It's about rich versus poor. It's ain't about black versus white. This ain't about brown versus white. This is about rich versus poor. You got the rich people who are in control of the politics now. So they're taking their money and their tax breaks. They're buying the American economy is in shambles now because of this shit. Because we have allowed them to take all the money from our labor, from us being slaves, and giving themselves all the money for our hard work, for your parents' fucking work. And we allowed them to take that and keep it instead of giving us, because we didn't stick together. You know, back in the day, people stuck together. You know what I'm saying? When it come to, you know, families and stuff, they had labor unions and shit. These unions nowadays is jokes compared to back in the day. They would protest that, not just a union for this and that. They would have states, whole fucking, like the whole, like, they would have like North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, you know, all of these places, all of these states, New York, everyone would come together at these labor unions, and it wouldn't just be a one state Georgia problem. It wouldn't be a South Carolina, Alabama problem. This would be a whole fucking United States problem. These unions have major power. You know what I mean? If one person can't make a difference, man, you got to have, you know what I'm saying, an army. You got to come together and organize. You know, we got to stick together. Fuck all that racism, black, white shit. We need to come together to fix this shit. Because what's happening, man, is you got all this small fucking minority of rich people that are getting all the fucking money, the profits from these businesses, from your fucking work. They don't fucking work. They don't do shit. They just don't fucking pay you what you're worth. They don't give you they cut your fucking pensions. They took your fucking retirement. They're trying to take Social Security. Fuck your fucking take your fucking health insurance now. The fuck, man? They're taking everything from you. You are literally getting fucked. And they are getting paid for fucking you in the ass for the last 30 fucking years. You've been getting fucked, and they've been getting paid for it. Real good. Real fucking good. And that's why you have this big fucking gap now between the rich and the poor. You are the fuck. You think you're fucking middle class? You ain't fucking shit. You are nothing compared. You know, let's not even. They have so much money. They are buying the liability from the bank. The banks can't even. We're in an economic depression. Like, if you don't understand this shit, like, do you know? Have you seen what the stocks are looking like now? Like, do you see why do you know why inflation is happening now? Do you know why inflation happens? Inflation. You want to know why the cost of goods go up, the prices, is because a small minority in a company decide, oh, COVID hit us for the last 2 years. We missed our profit margins because we didn't anticipate COVID. We need to make up for these last 2 years, so we need to increase the prices. All these rich people in this small fucking minority, all the heads of all the CEOs come together and say, oh, we're gonna start increasing our prices, and because we didn't meet our profit margin. We're not gonna get the millions that we thought we were gonna get. Like like the whole population, like everybody, all the women, like everyone that lives here in the United States we're taking it harder than they are. They're not fucking hurting. The people are fucking hurting. You the one that lost your fucking jobs. You're the one that can't fucking pay your rent. You're the one that's fucking on food stamps and government assistance and got them taking out these loans and getting this credit card debt up the fucking ass. They're not hurting. And they're just like, we're gonna make you pay for it. You're gonna pay for it. We're gonna increase the price of the products because we didn't make our profit margins. It's all about supply and demand. That's basic economics. It's basic economics. That's why inflation happens. The prices go up because the people at the top of the company decide they want to increase. Because our workers demand wages, because the prices of materials are going. No. It's because the people in charge decided to raise the price. The people working there, the employees, didn't decide to raise it. Just because the price of some of the stuff, the materials might have went up, that doesn't make the prices go up. The people in charge have to decide to raise the price. The CEOs, the people in charge. So they decide to raise the price and make you pay for it. All the while, they have gotten all the money from your hard work, and you never got a raise. And now they're gonna make you pay for this fuck up, this COVID shit too, because they didn't meet their profit margin. That's why you got inflation now. That's why you got inflation, is because you got these rich, greedy CEOs that decided to raise the price. The price ain't gone up on everything. You got some businesses that kept it the same because they tell you, I'm not going to raise the price because I'm in charge of my business. I'm not going to raise the price because I'm in charge. I control the prices. Who controls the prices? The CEOs, the people in charge that want to increase the profits so they can put it in their pockets. Who does that hurt? You. Who's working for them? You. Who's suffering? You. You paying for them. Because you didn't fuck up. They got it. They fucked up. They fucked up the whole economy. They are the problem. They're the reason why the economy's fucked up now. If they would have gave you a fucking raise a long time ago, you wouldn't be fucking hurting. You wouldn't be struggling to pay your goddamn bills right now. You wouldn't be homeless right now. You wouldn't be struggling to pay your rent. You wouldn't be struggling to put clothes on your kids' back. You wouldn't struggling to make ends meet, to put food in your fucking home. You wouldn't be struggling right now if they wouldn't be so fucking greedy. They are the problem. The CEOs, the rich people, they are the reason for this whole economic crisis, this whole depression. If we wouldn't have a depression, if we would have got the raises and the wages that we were supposed to get, a long time ago. It's been going on for a long time. They've been playing y'all. Look at history. Look at this shit. Go back. Just go back and look at the statistics. Look at the statistics. You know, I study economics, man. I study history. You know what I'm saying? I got a college degree. I looked at this shit, man. See, that's what happens when you don't pay attention when you don't pay attention, when you don't get an education, your history, your economics and shit. When you don't see and understand what's going on around you. That's what happens when you just don't go, when you don't vote, when you just let shit slide, when you just sit around and do nothing. When you just sit around and do nothing. That's what happens. Everybody been sitting around. They get a little dope. You sit around, do these drugs and shit. Y'all, ain't nobody been paying attention. Everybody been slipping. And they've been playing y'all for a long time. A long fucking time. And that's why the shit is collapsing. The economy has collapsed. Why do you think the IRS hasn't gave people refunds this year on time? I run a tax business. Half of the people, they didn't get their refunds. It said they got their refunds like 60 days later, 30 days later, because the government don't have the money. The economy is fucked up. Why? It's because of the rich people. Just a few of them. Just a small amount. It's just the CEO. It's not your managers, not your bosses. It's the CEOs. It's the people that own the companies. The ones making all the decisions. Your manager ain't got no say in the company. They just do what they're told. They just there to make sure that you stay on productivity. It's the CEOs. It's the people that own the company that make the decisions. That's why the whole economy is fucked up, though. Because they got all the money. They got your money, your retirement, your wages, your raises, your fucking mortgage, your house payment. Your house should have been paid off by now. Your house should have been paid off by now. You 40, 50 years old, you still got a mortgage. Your house should have been paid off by now. And they got so much money from your mama and your daddy going to work. And now you going to work. And you ain't got no raise in 30 fucking years. You got like these $2 raises. Meanwhile, they getting $2, $3, $4, $5 fucking $1 million raises off of your fucking hard work. They don't do a goddamn thing except say, don't give them a raise. Don't give them a raise. Make them work harder. And we're geniuses for doing it. That's why we should be rewarded. Because we're so fucking smart. We can make them work harder, make productivity better, and we don't have to give them a fucking raise, and they keep fucking doing it. Why? Because supply and demand. There's so much population. We got these Mexicans coming in. We got the Ukrainians coming in. Fuck it. Don't give them abortions. Make them have the fucking babies. Now we got all these fucking young, uneducated people that don't know the history. They're gonna fucking work. They're gonna come do it for nothing. Because they don't know no fucking better. They don't know the history. They don't know. They're just naive. They don't know any better. That's what they want. They want these young, uneducated, unskilled people to come do everything they want them to do. All the hard work. Bust their ass. So they can do the same thing they've been doing for the last 30 years. Ever since the 1970s. That's when they stopped giving out the wages. used to, if you look at history, at productivity in the United States in correlation with the wages, they have always been increased incrementally the same until about the 1970s after the Depression. And that's when the wages stopped going up. But guess who kept getting a raise? The CEOs. Starbucks, GM, all these American companies. They all gave themselves a raise off of your fucking hard work. You want to know why we're in an economic crisis right now? It's because the rich people have gave themselves a raise, took all the money that you should have had. You wouldn't be in a fucking economic crisis if you would have got a raise a long fucking time ago. You would have had money in the bank. So if something happened, you would have a cushion to fall back on, which is what our fathers and our grandfathers have always done because they were getting paid a fair wage. That is no longer true. That is no longer a reality. The reality now is that you've been getting played for the last 30 years, and so have your parents. Ain't nobody said nothing. And you know why? Population, supply and demand. And that's, it's the rub. And and like I said, I don't get involved in politics, man. But who Republicans all about? Oh, we don't want to give handouts to Democrats and give this EBT, food, free housing assistance, food assistance, or you got to work for what you get, da da da, and no minimum wage increase. That's Republicans, right? But who are Republicans? The so-called well-to-do, the rich, right? That's what happens when you let them get in office. They start taking your freedoms. And it's bigger than just your freedoms, your right to fucking abortions. It's bigger than just, your food stamps and your housing assistance. Like, what is this long term? What is this? How does this affect the whole population together? When you start having all these babies that you cannot already financially fucking support, and then they grow up and they are uneducated and they don't know no better. Now you have all these young dumb kids going to fucking work and they don't know no better. They're gonna go out there and fucking be slaves and bust their ass because they have no fucking choice. Because their fucking dumbass parents fucked up by letting these fucking people get into office and make rules like taking your abortion rights so that they can increase the population. And now you got all these fucking people and you ain't got no jobs. So what do? They don't have to give you a raise. Why should they? They can find some other dumb motherfucker to do the job. But if you would have been paying attention and your parents would have been smart, they wouldn't let this shit happen. Y'all need to pay attention, see what's going on. It's not about race, man. It's not about black. I mean, there is racism like a motherfucker. Texas is a racist motherfucking state. But, that's what Republicans, they all about anyway. They just want a bunch of fucking slaves. They just want a bunch of slaves. This is modern day slavery, man. I ain't got to fucking work at McDonald's. I ain't got to go to Starbucks. Motherfucker, I got my own motherfucking jobs and shit. I study economics. I went to college. So I ain't got to do this shit no more. Cause I got tired of doing this shit. Bitch, I've been to prison twice. I know the fucking game. I paid my dues. I know the system. Cause I've been through it. And I'm trying to tell you, man, from my experience. I'm trying to tell you based on what I've seen. I study history. I study economics. You know what I'm saying? I read these books and shit. I study. I'm saying this because I got kids, man. And I worry about them and their future. And I tell them, man, you don't want to be no factory worker. You don't want to, but you don't want to work like I had to do. You don't want to have to go to school and work 3 jobs and sell dope all at the same fucking time like I did, bitch. You don't want to do this shit. I bust my ass. I pay my dues. I do this shit so my kids ain't got to. Don't just say your kids ain't got, like, what are you teaching your kids? My kids ain't gonna do that shit. Your kids gonna work for bullshit. Cause you ain't gonna vote. Cause you ain't say nothing. Cause you ain't say you need a raise. Cause you, when everybody else said, hey, I'm not gonna do this shit. For just another thing, man, y'all out here be trying to goddamn undercut the next motherfucker. Like, I run this motherfucker like this mechanic shit. And they be like, oh, I got a better price than somebody else. Well, fuck them. Let them do that shit. I'm not doing that shit for that cheap ass shit. Bitch, I'm a skilled professional. Let that crackhead do that shit. I'm not doing it. And when he fuck your shit up, don't call me. Don't call me when you let that crackhead fuck your shit up. You know what I'm saying? We supposed to be sticking together as a people. And y'all out here trying to undercut. See, y'all ain't thinking about everybody else and your kids and everybody else and how this affects everyone as a whole. See, we supposed to be sticking together. And we would all get paid a decent wage. We would all get paid together. But see, some people be like, they not thinking about that because they're not educated. They might think, oh, I'm just gonna do this or do that. I'm gonna just do my job. But see, y'all don't think about the history and the economics and the impact this shit has on society. The bigger picture. Because y'all ain't study your history and your economics. Because you're not looking around in your politics and what's going on around. You think, oh, I'm gonna sit here, I ain't gonna vote. And you let these Republicans get in office, and that's what happens. They start passing rules like that, taking away your civil rights, your liberties. Now you got to have these babies, and you can't even fucking financially support them. And guess what else? When Republicans get in office, and you can't, they done took away your fucking food stamps and your housing assistance. Guess what? Your motherfucking kids gonna go to work for nothing. All y'all, your mama, your daddy, and all your motherfuckers gonna be working at McDonald's. All of y'all together as a family. All y'all gonna go to McDonald's and flip them burgers together. Cause you ain't paying, cause you ain't go vote, you ain't go to school. Cause you don't know no better. Hey, it ain't your fault, man. Maybe it's your parents' fault. Maybe it's a system. This shit is designed. They're not dumb. They've been setting this shit up for a long time. This is their game. This is their plan. This is how you still have slavery today. This is how they keep you down. This is how they keep generational wealth. This is how they keep you and your family from ever having anything to keep you struggling. Because we haven't come together as a people. Because we have allowed ourselves to fall educationally in the fields of politics, economics, and history. We have not been paying attention. And you know, they let your fathers go to jail. Your mama got to go to work. We don't have time to worry about an education. Goddamn, you need to go to work when you 18. You need to start making some money to help support the family. Da 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 da. Education has taken the back burner, and this is what happens. This is a result of allowing the rich people to continue to get richer, and the poor people just continue to get poor. And you wonder why organized crime is on the rise. And it's going. I hope it comes back to bite the rich people in the ass. You know, I really hope that everyone comes together and they just go take everything back what they were fucking owed. I hope you take everything back they fucking owe you. Because they owe you for 30 fucking years of hard fucking work from your parents and your grandparents, your college education, the reason why your father went to prison, why you couldn't get an education, why you couldn't get ahead. It's because of them. I hope you go get it back too. I hope we all come back. I hope we all come together and we all get it back. I hope we all come together and get it back. Because they fucking owe us, man. They fucking owe us, man. Fuck that.